what's really going on. They saying, damn, the sky is orange in Canada. Damn, sky turned orange because of forest fires. Now, it wasn't long ago, Canada was on fire by, what was it, couple years ago? On fire. The whole damn country of Canada was on fire. Now it's back on fire. You see, wait a minute. Is this a part? Is this a part of this rapture? Is this the part of the Ragnarok? Is this the part of God being a consuming fire? We gotta ask ourselves this question. Not only is it a goddamn heat wave out here, smothering the planet. For some, for many of us, we just bathing. We bathing in the sun. We sunbathing. For whole lot of people, yeah, this ain't nothing to bathe in. You understand what I'm saying? It's something to flee from and to hide from. But obviously, some guys done set fire to some shit out there in Canada, and it didn't blaze up to the point where the sky didn't turn orange over Toronto. To my understanding, Minnesota is also on fire. I mean, this shit has become critical. This has become very critical. And people don't know that, many terrorists have looked at, this is what I seen on the news. That this is one of the top, terrorist plots. If they wanted to cause mayhem on the North American continent, was to set fire to all them damn trees and shit up there in Canada, down through the United States. Make it damn near uncontrollable, smoke. Motherfuckers is I mean, you can barely breathe up north. You can barely breathe. We seen the smog and shit, and like, damn, this shit is like, what is going on? You feel me? But again, this is apocalyptic time. And people say there's always apocalyptic activity. There's always apocalyptic activity. But this is when you start getting, we talking about chart-topping tsunamis, chart-topping earthquakes, chart-topping heat waves, where you break the record. This is record-breaking heat waves. This is record-breaking earthquakes. You see, all at one goddamn time. And so people's just wondering, is we moving? Because sometimes when you moving from out of one house, we talking about astronomical houses. When you move out of one house into the other, you know what I'm saying? It's almost like, like when they be showing how them spacecrafts be entering, back into the atmosphere, and that motherfucker be shaking, you know what I'm saying? And so, as the earth is moving into another house, some of that entrance into that house, you know what I'm saying, is climatic. You see what I'm saying? And a lot of things is going on. But it's also showing us the future. It's showing us the future, that what this planet is becoming much hotter. And you can see, just like how Africa, when you talk about Northern Africa, used to be tropical. But it's a desert. but it's going to become tropical again. Okay, it will become tropical again. And is it possible that that same process can take place in North America or anywhere for that matter? Anywhere for that matter. See, you have to have been through the whole solar cycle. You see, the solar cycle is not the earth spinning around the sun, but the sun spinning on its elliptical. You see, which is people saying is almost 24,000 and a half thousand years, 24 and a half thousand years, and it's elliptical. Okay. And so in that time period, you could probably, see a lot of changes on the planet, but you wouldn't know it unless you've been through the 24,000 years, and understand that the galaxy is also spinning. You see, so as the sun, the earth is rotating, right? And then the sun is rotating, right? But the galaxy is also rotating. You see what I'm saying? Thank you, family. So you're going to see the sun will even move, in its 24,000 years, it's going to change. Just like the earth will see you're going to see new astronomical things in the sky that you never seen before. You're going to see new zodiac houses. They're not going to stay the same. You know what I'm saying? It's not going to stay the same. This whole universe, the galaxy is moving, the universe is moving. This is just one galaxy, but the universe is expanding. So which means that, our galaxy is expanding. They saying that the Andromeda galaxy and the Milky Way galaxy, we stay in the Milky Way galaxy. You feel what I'm saying? And so they're saying that the Andromeda galaxy and the Milky Way galaxy gonna form one galaxy sooner or later. It's gonna merge into one. So you have to understand that that's why our people's got to stay into them stars and constellations recording what's happening, what time, so we could pass that down. That's the mind of the primordials to do that. So when our babies come around, you understand, appreciate y'all, family, straight out the D. You already know what it is, family. You already know. So we can hand these scrolls down, you feel me? 10,000 years later, we already documented it, handed it to our babies. They say, oh, this is when, our family in 2026 recorded such and such. And come around and our descendants is still looking at the scrolls of the gods and saying, yes, it was recorded by the primordials in 2026. It was fires on the planet. It was a heat wave, and it come around, another 12,000, 24,000, and they record the same thing. They seeing that the process, is repeating itself once it get in that particular zodiac house. We have to do these things. That's what makes us the primordials. Because it's clear that we the only people that have been on the planet long enough to complete a solar elliptical. That's a fact. That's not even up for dispute. That's not even up for dispute. The Neanderthal just been out the cave 2,000 years. Alexander conquered the world around 332 BC. That's where you start with the Neanderthal. Alexander. You can't, of no consequence of any European had any impact on the world into Alexander. Other than that, everything previous to that They null and void. They null and void. You see what I'm saying? It was some disrupt. It was some disruptions in Greece and things of that nature. It was, but not to the not on the continent, not on the continent. You see, not on the continent. But anyway, with these fires and the heat waves and the earthquakes, and it seems to be now that we're moving into a different site of different house. You can tell now. The only way we could prove it is to see if next year it stay hot, you gonna know that it's becoming the norm. It's gonna become the norm. And if this is just the beginning, because usually when it's just gonna keep going up and up. It's, however hot it is in June or July, it's gonna start to get just as hot in June. Early June, you're gonna start seeing it just as hot as you see it this year. It's gonna start being as hot in June. And if you study it long enough, 100 years into the zone, because you're talking about 1,200 years, 1,200 years in a zodiac house, in the solar elliptical. You see, 1,200 years. So if we just coming into it, whoa, that's all I can say. Whoa. It's gonna be hot as hell in this zodiac house. But let's study it next year. Let's study it 3 years in a row. And let's see. If it's hotter next year, man, it's gonna be a lot of things that just ain't gonna survive this coming house, this zodiac house that we are not entering in. And we might not be all the way in it. We might be on the cusp. A cusp is that, that area between two houses where you kind of get a little of both. You feel what I'm saying? You get a little of both. You see, you're not really in this one, out of this one. You're not really all the way in this one. You feel when you're in the cusp. And we might be in the cusp. But as we move more into the house, it's gonna be hot as hell. Do you feel what I'm saying? Yeah, I appreciate y'all, man, from coming over here, building with the general. Make sure y'all get over there to Patreon. Too raw for YouTube, General Seti. I had to take all that raw information over there because too many people's on the internet crying. I got them crying right now. Real talk. Got them crying because they know how I do. So get over there, get that Too Raw for YouTube, General Seti. Also check out General Seti, a one-stop on Etsy. Get over there, get some of that classic material, HD DVDs. You have to have the original. That's classic, baby. That's classic. I'll see y'all in a minute. Black Power.